She plays Delphine, the mysterious Delphine, the lovely and talented Evelyne Brochu. How's it going, Evelyn?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm incredible. Loving your jacket right now.
Thank you.
Of course, that doesn't come across on radio so well, but that's all right. So listen to me. Last season, we saw Delphine shipped off to Frankfurt. Mm-hmm. So I just have to assume the whole show's moving. Are going to Frankfurt, and that's the new home base of Orphan Black, right?
As you can see, today we turned Brampton into Germany. Did quite a good job at it. But yeah, no. We didn't shoot Frankfurt in Toronto.
Okay. I'm going to assume that somehow, some way, at some time, Delphine's going to mysteriously somehow arrive back, and we're going to see how she got there.
That's a great assumption. I mean, Delphine at the end of season 2 made a big promise, and what's going to be interesting is how she going to make that promise come true? How she's gonna is her word going to be true?
Such a fascinating character, because the twists and turns of this character and watching fan reaction, it's like if you could have sort of like an approval matrix like meter and watch people like love Delphine, hate Delphine, love Delphine, kind of not sure about Delphine.
What do you mean kind of not sure? No, I'm joking.
She's always like just a little bit, like even when her intentions were true to Cosima in season 2, she was still doing things behind her back, which just makes her a really fascinating character. I think, what's it like to sort of watch those ebbs and flows of her throughout?
I think it's amazing. Just like in real life, nobody's all good or all bad. So having someone that's that authentic and having to portray that kind of truth, and even when you do have a good intention, sometimes it makes you do bad things. So, being able to navigate these dark, sort of wobbly waters is always kind of fun.
What can you say about Delphine in season 3? What can you tell us?
The first word that comes to mind is power. And what comes with power are, difficult decisions that sometimes people don't understand at first. So definitely Delphine is in a more of a power position, but in a harder place. It's harder for her to manage the different, forces that operate around her. There's dyad, there's topside, there's love. How do you navigate those waters? That's going to be the fascinating thing to follow this season.
I think that Delphine and Cosima they're the couple that fans are definitely most invested in that way. I mean, Allison and Donnie are amazing, but from a little comedic relief. They're amazing in a different way. You know what I mean?
Wait till you see this season.
But in terms of just deep love and complicated love, and like people are get very invested in this relationship, and is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Should it work? And we've seen those highs and lows. What's it like, sort of, living through that on set all the time?
I think from the inside, it's completely different, because for me, anyhow, that's how I was taught in theater school. You always have to think that your character is right, just like we always think we're right or trying to be right, even though sometimes we're wrong. We try to follow some sort of line. So I'm always kind of backing Delphine in my heart and in my mind, and also from the inside, it's just, I think, chemistry. I've been blessed with a very amazing work partner, and for some reason, these two characters that Graham and John created kind of bounce off of each other in a very special way, and you just kind of with the flow.
We're talking with Evelyne Brochu, who plays Delphine on Orphan Black. We're on set of the show right now discussing, and she's about to go out in just a minute and have a very cold night shoot outdoors. How do you feel about that?
I kind of like the cold. I kind of like any kind of challenge, because it brings you back to truth. There can't be like an overflow of extra voluntary kind of energy. You have to bring it back to focus on what matters, the person in front of you, what you're actually saying, what you're meaning, connecting to that person. Because if you don't connect to those things, you just feel your cold toes, and it just becomes awful. So yeah, I think physical challenge brings you back. I think the body is always a place of truth. So whatever brings you back to your body is always a blessing, even though sometimes it kind of hurts.
So you don't need that big down jacket in between takes, then, right? We don't need to give that to you.
Because you want to have it? Is that what you're saying?
might steal that for you while you're in the middle of a scene.
Do it.
But I guess you don't need the coffee either, because the cold will keep you up.
Exactly. So you can run around Frankfurt / Brampton.
What's it? I mean, you're here, and we're recording this in early March, and it's the season finale. So the end line is in sight. What are the feelings you have there? Is it excitement that we're about to get through this season, or is it a little bit of sadness that you're going to be leaving your family for a little bit?
Oh man, definitely excitement, because we had the read through last Friday. And it is an amazing episode. I had shivers the whole way through. I couldn't believe that. I mean, these guys, script after script, they just always raise the bar. I don't know how they do it, but it's incredible. To me, it's genius. And I think the fans are going to enjoy it so much. But of course, there's also a bit of a pre-grieving sort of system that kicks in. And then you're excited about your going, I don't live in Toronto, although I spend so much time here now. I feel like I do kind of, but I get to go back home, spend a little time with friends, and that's always a thing to look forward to. But missing something special that, yes, could be called a family. For me, I do get attached, especially when everybody's so passionate and fun and smart and kind, like it is the case on this set. So yeah, there's a bit of a sadness, a bit of a gloomy.
Wow, I just brought you down a little bit, didn't I? Just brought you down.
It's fine. The cold will whip it out of me.
Especially when you can't find your coat. Anyway, Delphine's such an interesting character, because I feel like Delphine will always be very important to the story of what's happening, not just the love angle that we talk about, but because she's science-based, and science is such an important part of this show that she's always going to be instrumental, at least in that aspect of what's happening.
Very true. I think I understood that right off the bat, first season, when we met the real Cosima, who's Graham's friend. I'm sure you've heard about her. Her name is Cosima. And she did study in what I didn't study. She has the kind of brain that it takes to do what Delphine and Cosima do. And she was explaining it to us, although I don't remember anything. It kind of felt like biology class, where you're like, it makes so much sense when the teacher's saying it, but then,
It doesn't sound as smart when it comes out of my mouth.
Exactly. And then you have really bad grades the next day on the test. But hey, so yeah, I thought, oh my God, not only is this show super entertaining and kind of fringy and like nothing I've seen before, but it's also really, really smart. And for a woman, getting to play someone who's really strong and really passionate, but also really smart is super, super fun. Especially because she's, I think, smarter than me. Me too.
Smarter than both of us combined. You mentioned earlier that Delphine this season is going to have to deal with some issues that maybe come with power, and I'm also curious how that relates to the other clones who Delphine has had a complicated relationship with at times, more early on. But what's her relationship going to be like with clones not named Cosima or Felix, and who's very protective of Sarah and people like that?
I think, as I said before, that promise was to love all of the sisters equally. And that sounds quite simple and quite jolly, just love them all equally. And so you think, oh, good for her, that's what she's going to do. But what does it mean to love all the sisters equally, and how are the sisters going to react to that, and are they going to trust her choices and decisions? Or is there going to be a whole lot of mistrust? And how is Delphine going to sort of hang on to her beliefs and push forward in that regard? That's the mystery, and that's where it gets even darker and even more complicated. And I think even the public are going to react like the various clones will react in very different ways. And that's amazing, because as I said, there's nothing more boring than something that's one note.
Right.
Delphine definitely isn't one note.
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite sort of fan encounter or piece of fan art? They like to do that sometimes and send that your way. Any sort of encounter you've had that sort of sticks out, Evelyne?
Any kind of fan art really moves me. I feel like science fiction brings that level of belonging and involvement, and people sort of walking to the universe that we've all created together and make it their own, and that really moves me. But on top of that, I got some amazing letters, and here we are, you know, creating fiction. I'm working, doing what I'm passionate about, and I'm very blessed. But I'm aware also that it's not reality, that it's created. But I think when it does have an impact on somebody's reality, then that makes it extra special. And I've had a couple of letters of young lesbians that told me that seeing these characters that are gay but that have, you know, many other issues to deal with, and being a lesbian is not one of them, and finding that so refreshing and so helpful in their lives that it gave them perhaps the courage to come out at school or with their parents, knowing how in different context, in different situations, places, it can be a hard thing, and it's hard to be yourself at any age, and it's even harder at a young age. So when you have somebody that's in high school and sort of pouring their hearts out into these letters, and you get that at home, and that comes out of you participating in a show, it's just really, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean,
it really moves me.
Those are some of the reactions we got at Comic-Con when people would say those statements, and, you know, you can't help but get misty. And when you think about the fact that 20 years ago on television, you know, people didn't have those role models or people to look up to or to say, hey, there's someone like me, and they're well-adjusted, or they're, you know, doing great things, and now they do, and it's, you know, it's important.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge, and I'm so proud to be a part of that. So proud.
No, we're very lucky to see you again in Germany or wherever you may be, wearing your down coat. Evelyne Brochu, always wonderful to talk to you. Cannot wait to see you on this season of Orphan Black. Thanks for chatting.
Thanks for having me.
Get back on set.
All right.
All right, we'll be back with more on EW Radio.